Hi all, welcome to the video lecture series of Python for Machine Learning. In this video lecture, we'll be discussing about how to iterate over a dictionary. There are multiple ways by which we can iterate over a dictionary in Python. They are, first of all, we can iterate through all keys. We know that dictionary is a key value pair. A dictionary is a collection of key value pairs. Every item in a dictionary consists of a key and a corresponding value. So we can iterate through a dictionary by means of keys, or we can iterate through a dictionary by means of its values, or we can iterate through a dictionary by all key value pairs. First of all, we will see how to iterate through a dictionary by means of keys or by using its keys. Here we have created a dictionary. The dictionary name is states and capital, and we have 4 items. Each item is a key value pair since it's a dictionary. The key value pairs are Gujarat, Gandhinagar, Maharashtra, Mumbai, Rajasthan, Jaipur, and Bihar, Patna. And we have started a for loop. State is the loop variable, in is the membership operator, and states and capitals is our dictionary. So when we use like a loop like this, each time the loop variable will be pointing to the key of the dictionary. So initially state will be pointing to Gujarat, then Maharashtra, then Rajasthan, then Bihar. See, we cannot specify the order in which it will be pointed. Each time it will be different. Okay. So anyway, here when we use a loop like this, we are not mentioning to which, whether to the keys or to the values, the variable state have to point. So since we have not mentioned whether the key or value to be pointed, here state will be pointing to the keys inside the dictionary in any arbitrary order. So when we execute this program, the output we are going to get will be the keys of this dictionary: Rajasthan, Bihar, Maharashtra, and Gujarat. You can see all these words are actually keys of this dictionary, and the order in which the output is printed, it is arbitrary. The first item is Gujarat, Gandhinagar. The key is Gujarat, but the output that we got here, the first word is Rajasthan. So that is not the first item inside the dictionary. So the order in which we are getting the output will be arbitrary. We cannot mention, we cannot guess the order in which the output would be printed if we use a loop like this. So here the iteration over the dictionary took place by means of its keys. The second way for iterating through dictionary is by means of or by using their values. We are using the same example as in the previous slide. The same dictionary, the same for loop, but here see we have used the method values. So dictionary name dot values will return the values inside the dictionary. The values of each key value pair will be returned by the values method. So in that case, here the variable capital is pointing to each of the values inside this dictionary, and when we print that, we'll be getting the values of the each key inside this dictionary. Again, the order will be arbitrary. We cannot specify, we will not be able to guess the order in which the output will be printed. The third and final way to iterate over a dictionary is by means of all key value pairs. So far we saw how to iterate through a dictionary by means of keys, by means of values. In both those cases, we'll be either getting the output as only the keys or only the values. But if you want to get the complete key value pair as the output, then we have to iterate in such a way that we have to use 2 variables. One variable will be pointing to the key and the other variable will be pointing to the value. So if you want to iterate through a dictionary by all key value pairs, we have to use the method items. So dictionary name dot items will be returning all the key value pairs inside the dictionary. So since this method is returning a pair of items, so a pair means there will be 2 values or 2 contents, item and value. So in this case, state will be pointing to the key and capital will be pointing to the value of each pair. So when we print state and capital, we'll be getting the output as like this. So as we can see, the first variable state is pointing to the keys inside the dictionary, and second variable capital is pointing to the values inside the dictionary. So items method returns the key value pairs inside the dictionary. So this is the third way by which we can iterate over a dictionary, and again the order in which the output we will get, we cannot guess it. It will be arbitrary order because the elements inside dictionary are unordered. We cannot specify, we are not accessing any element inside the dictionary by using index numbers. So there is no order in which the elements are stored inside a dictionary. So we cannot guess the format or the order in which we had used the method items in the previous slide to get all the key values from a dictionary. So that is the basic purpose of this method named items. It returns a view object actually. That means the view object, the object returned by the items method, or the result returned by the item method, is actually a view object. Now what is a view object? The view object will contain the key value pairs inside the dictionary, and it will be returned as a tuple in a list. Okay, the key values will be returned as a tuples in a list. How we will represent a tuple? The tuples are represented as a what we can say in a pair of inside a pair of parentheses separated by a comma, and list is represented as a list of elements separated by comma inside a pair of square brackets. So what do we mean by tuples in a list? So that we can say, in other words, we can say a list of tuples, a list consisting of tuples, and each tuple will be having the key and values. Okay, so the view object returned by the item method is actually a list of tuples. Okay, that is the key value pairs inside a dictionary will be returned as a list of tuples. A list of tuples means a list consisting of several tuples, and each tuple in this case will be consisting of two elements. One will be the key and the other one will be the value. Okay, so we can see an example here. And also one more point we have to remember is the view object will reflect any changes done to the dictionary. The view object will reflect any changes done to the dictionary. This is very important. So syntax of items method is like this: dictionary name dot items. We will see one example here. We have created one dictionary. The name of the dictionary is car, and there are several key value pairs inside the dictionary. Brand Ford, that is one key value pair. Model Mustang, that is another key value pair. Year 1964, that is another key value pair. And see, we are using the items method. So items method is actually returning a view object of this dictionary, and that view object is inside the variable x. And what is view object? View object is actually a tuples in a list, or in other words we can say a list of tuples. See this, a list is enclosed in a pair of square brackets. You can see the pair of square brackets here. So that's a list. Inside the list, the elements are separated by comma. You can see this is the first element inside the list, the second element, the third element, because all of them are separated by comma. And you can see here the first element inside the list is actually enclosed in a pair of parentheses. That means it's a tuple. The second element also, it's enclosed in a pair of parentheses. That means it is also a tuple. That is why we are saying tuples in a list, or list of tuples. And what is the value of first tuple? Key and value. The first key value pair, key and the corresponding value, that is the first tuple. The second tuple will be the second key value pair, key and value, model and Mustang. And third element is, it's also a tuple. Its value is key, the third key and its corresponding value. Now here the value is 2018. Why? Because we have modified the value. Here see this, car of year is equal to 2018. So we have seen this, we have discussed this. We can modify all the existing values inside a dictionary by using the corresponding key. So when we execute this line of code, First of all, we will be searching for a key inside this car dictionary whose content will be here. So here inside this dictionary we have already a key whose content is here. So only the corresponding value will be getting modified. So here 1964 will be replaced by 2018. So since this items method is returning a view object, that change will be reflected even though we got the view object before this line of code. We got the view object before executing this line of code. The view object is inside the variable x. So first we obtained the view object and then we made the change. Even then that change will be reflected because we are getting the view object of the dictionary. So whatever changes we make to the dictionary will be reflected in the view object also. That is why instead of 1964 we are getting the output value as 2018. I hope you understood the working of it. There is something known as reverse dictionary lookup. Reverse dictionary lookup means we are actually searching for a specified value inside the dictionary and the key of that value will be returned and it will be returned as a list. So by definition, reverse dictionary lookup returns a list consisting of keys inside the dictionary that maps to a specified value. So we are actually searching the dictionary by using value. We are searching for a value inside a dictionary. If that value is there inside the dictionary, the corresponding key will be returned as a list. So we have the value, we are searching for the key. That is why we are saying it as reverse lookup. Generally when we go through a dictionary, we will be having the key. We want to get the value of that corresponding key, isn't it? We have the key with us. If we have to access the value of that key, we can write dictionary name in square bracket, mention the key name, we will get the corresponding value. Here we are doing in the reverse direction. That is, we have the key with us. Sorry, we have the value with us. We need to get the key back. So we are iterating through the dictionary, comparing the values inside the dictionary. If the value is mapped, then we are getting the corresponding key. That is why we are calling it as reverse dictionary lookup. We are looking up the dictionary in the reverse order. That is why it is named as the reverse dictionary lookup. And for that we have to use the for loop, that is the other one, for key value in the dictionary name dot items method. That is, we have to access the dictionary by using items method. So since the items method is returning a view of the dictionary object and the returned result of the items method is a list of tuples. In each tuple there will be two values. They are key and its value. So since in each tuple there are two values, we need two variables. So here this is the for loop syntax that we have to follow to perform reverse dictionary lookup. Okay, for is the for loop, key value are the variables, in is a membership operator, and dict, here dict is a dictionary name, dot items, where items the items method. So items method will be returning the view object in which it will be a list of tuples. Each tuple will be having two elements. First element will be the key and second element will be the value of that key. So the variable key will be pointing to the key inside each tuple, the first element inside each tuple, and value will be pointing to the second element inside the each tuple returned by the method items. And at each iteration, so since it is a loop, here it is a loop, so for each iteration, if the value is the lookup value, that is, if we will be comparing the value, here the value variable will be pointing to the value inside the tuple returned by the items method. So we will be comparing the value with the lookup value. If you got a match, then that key will be copied to the empty list, and thereby we will be stopping the iteration. So we are actually trying to retrieve the key by using a value. That is why we are naming it as this is an example for reverse dictionary lookup. We have a dictionary. The key value pairs are A1, B3, C1, D2, and we have the value to look up so that is inside the lookup value equal to 1. All keys, we have initially an empty list and we are writing the for loop here for key value in dictionary name is a dictionary dot items. So this will return the view object of this dictionary. There is a list of tuples consisting of each key value pair as a tuple. Key will be pointing to A, B, C and D, and value will be pointing to 1, 3, 1 and 2. And see, we are comparing. Value is the loop variable and lookup value is the value we have to look up inside the dictionary. We are comparing both values each time inside the loop. When we found a match, the corresponding key will be added to the empty list. So at the end of this program, we'll be getting a list consisting of the keys whose value got a match inside this for loop. So see this, the output is A and C. What are A and C? A and C are actually the keys inside the dictionary. So we have the value to search for. We are going to find out the keys. We have the value, we have to find out the corresponding key. Later, before we have studied how to access values from a key. Now we are accessing keys from values. That is why it is termed as reverse lookup. Like we have studied list comprehension, we can also use dictionary comprehension. If we want to get a more compact implementation, we can go for dictionary comprehension. The above example can be done the same way by using this comprehension. So here we have written the same loop here for key value in a dictionary, dictionary dot items, and for each iteration we have the if condition here, if value equal to lookup value, then that key is copied to this all keys list. Here we have written everything inside a pair of square brackets. That means it represents a list. So the previous example, we can do it in this way also. This is known as dictionary comprehension. Dictionary comprehension is used only for getting a compact implementation. The working remains the same. So here also the output will be and we shall conclude now. In this video lecture, we discussed about dictionary iterations, how to iterate our dictionary, what do we mean by dictionary reverse lookup, and 3 different ways to iterate over a dictionary. That is all in this video lecture. Thank you so much.